Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast that oozes the power of positivity. This is Lost in the Midcard, episode 18, our post-Elimination Chamber special. I am your host, Jeremy Bennett, and I am on Twitter at JBHuskers, and we are on Facebook, facebook.com/LostInTheMidcard, and there, if you click on the notes section, you can see our links to YouTube and also to iTunes, and we thank SpiderDuck.net for hosting us, for the ability to be on iTunes. And as always, I am joined by my co-host on Twitter at RawFShowtime, Matt Black. Matt, how are you feeling after this Elimination Chamber pay-per-view?
I'm feeling good, man. It was definitely a show of surprises, ups and downs, all were in between. Feeling good, man. Ready to get right in there.
All right, let's. Before we get to the chamber, we got a couple of news stories to bust out here for you that happened. A lot has happened between our podcast on Thursday and when we recorded here right after the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. First off, this may not come as any surprise, but and of course we're going to go in depth into the Kevin Owens and John Cena match a little bit later on our Elimination Chamber review. But it has almost become all but official. Reports come from F4W Online, and also taking an article here from John Canton from TJRWrestling.net, where Kevin Owens has signed a new WWE main roster contract. As some of you may know, the background of the WWE, there are developmental contracts and there are main roster contracts, and obviously the main roster contracts are quite lucrative compared to the developmental contracts. This is definitely, in the NXT era, been the fastest trip for someone through, but obviously with someone as the talent of Kevin Owens, it's not a surprise that he's already to this point in his WWE career.
I don't know. I still, honestly, as good as he is, I still am kind of surprised.
Are you?
That he's been moved up as quickly as he has.
Well,
not that I'm not complaining at all. I think it's great, but I am truly surprised that he's been moved up to the main roster this quickly.
Yeah, it is. I mean, he debuted in December at NXT, the Takeover special there, and then he fought his first match in February against the resident hippie. Well, I guess he's not a resident anymore, but the former hippie jobber, CJ Parker. Basically, they say it's going to be a smooth transition out of NXT, meaning Joe's probably going to take the title from him very soon. Joe's going to humble him like a bitch. Obviously, you know, Kevin Owens has made a mark in NXT. He has been phenomenal. The story with him turning on his former best friend Sami Zayn has been great. It's been stretched out to for quite a long time, and we haven't really honestly gotten tired of it because, you know, we unlike some of the angles on Raw, we don't see this each and every week. So it's been kind of a fresh type of lengthy feud, which I can honestly say they'll probably headline a WrestleMania someday. They may even go down as possibly, you know, they may actually get into that stratosphere of a Rock and Stone Cold feud possibly. Do you think that is a possibility down the road as long as all parties stay healthy, Matt?
No, it's always a possibility. But I mean, it really just comes down to the talents being protected and the talents continuing push going down the line. I mean, injuries happen. I mean, all the big players over the years have been injured, and you know, at the end of the day, that didn't stop their train of momentum to the top. So as long as they're booked correctly, and this, you know, it continues to go in that direction, I mean, yeah, it obviously could happen, and you know, it would be amazing for the business right now if it did. Yeah,
it's no doubt. Sami Zayn's time's got to be coming soon, you'd think, once he's probably fully healthy. And you figure Joe's probably going to be on the same fast track as Owens, right, with all of his experience?
Man, I don't know, because his contract is so unique, I guess you could say. I mean, we still don't really know the details of that contract, but at this point, with WWE looking to make NXT a third touring brand, apparently very big next year, they need, if they're going to be bringing all these people up, they're going to need to repopulate NXT. So the future of wrestling right now is very exciting, but very uncertain at the same time. So it's going to be super interesting to see where this all goes from here.
Yeah, I don't think the future of wrestling has ever been so bright as it is today.
Agreed.
But at the same point, there's more of a focus on the future. We're able to have our eyes on the future so much more than we did in the past. So, the internet wasn't really around when the Attitude Era broke. It was around, but obviously not as popular. Streaming videos, watching YouTube videos of a lot of these indie guys that are working their way up through the ranks. It's a bunch of stuff that we've never seen before, but at the same time, the level of caliber speaks for itself. So the future is great. It's great that Owens has signed a deal. We'll get into a little more with Kevin Owens in a little bit, but now we got some movie news with WWE's Sheamus. He has been announced for the upcoming Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 movie on this latest reboot, that he will join as the famous villain there, Rocksteady. For those who remember the cartoon, Rocksteady was the Rhino, no relation to the wrestler. He was the Rhino, along with his little counterpart Bebop, the old pig, as they were mercenaries for Shredder. So it'd be pretty cool to see Sheamus in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle franchise. It's got Stephen Amell, who plays Arrow, and we're going to talk about him here in just a minute too. He's going to play Casey Jones, the vigilante, and so it's kind of leading up to be a pretty big cast to kind of continue the rejuvenation of Ninja Turtles, which set $485 million worldwide at the box office on this reboot. So, Matt, what do you think about Sheamus as Rocksteady?
I thought it came out of nowhere. I definitely didn't know that Sheamus was looking for a movie career. He fits the build. I think he can be good. I don't have any issues with it. I definitely think it has a lot to do with Stephen Amell, because he's been talking about wanting to do something with WWE and for like forever. And it seems like WWE has ignored it. But now all of a sudden we see Stephen Amell and Sheamus working on the same movie together, and all of a sudden Stephen Amell's on Raw, doing something with Stardust. So it almost to me seems like when there's smoke, there's fire. And I think, one thing absolutely relates to the other.
Yeah, and I think Sheamus would have been a better Bebop with his orange hair and stuff, but I don't know.
Yeah, but if they're sticking true to the cartoons, they got the casting right for Bebop and Rocksteady. So true. I don't have a problem with it.
It'd be kind of cool to see what he looks like on the set there, and I'm sure we'll see some pictures eventually once they start filming. I don't know when they even start filming for it yet.
Yeah, they're filming right now.
Are they?
Yep.
Stephen Amell, speaking of which, leads to our final story of this episode. It has been rumored, according to the celebrity website HollywoodLife.com, and it's also been reported by various other places around the country today, that Stephen Amell from Arrow is going to be taking on Stardust at SummerSlam. Obviously, at last week's Raw, Stardust got into the face of Amell. I believe they probably had a little bit of a Twitter war as well. And so, we a lot of us probably thought he wasn't gonna, this wasn't gonna be the end of Amell, his involvement with the WWE. And just as you said, he's going to be in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 with Sheamus. So, we all know that he is a gigantic fan. And You know, sometimes when stars get involved with wrestlers, we kind of shake our heads and go, "This could be ugly." But I think with Amel's athleticism himself from doing Arrow, I think this could turn out to be a pretty fun celebrity versus wrestler feud, don't you think?
Yeah, I think it could be a lot of fun, and if they do it properly, it should be very entertaining. And obviously, Stardust was on a fast track to nowhere, and all of a sudden the ML thing starts happening for him, and he got a win tonight over Ryder in the pre-show. So I definitely think they're gonna. I think Stardust has a little bit of a lifeline for himself right now, thanks to Stephen Amell for the summer, and I guess we'll see where he goes from there.
Yeah, if Amell goes over at SummerSlam, that might be the official end of Stardust, and we get Cody back.
And I wouldn't mind that one bit.
No, the Stardust character, while Cody played it great, the transformation into Stardust was great. I think standing alone, it's just lost its luster. With Goldust, it was great. It was perfect, and a different side to Cody. I loved it. But as a single star, it's best for Cody to be himself. And I'm assuming Arnett goes over against Stardust at SummerSlam, and that causes the downward spiral. All right, it is time for our Elimination Chamber review.
Vader time?
It is what? Vader time!
That's right.
Corpus Christi, Texas, one of the few arenas that can hold an Elimination Chamber, apparently. It holds the event here because originally it was going to just be a little house show, so a nice little surprise for Corpus Christi as they get one of the major events in sports entertainment in the Elimination Chamber. The kickoff show had ourselves a little match between Zack Ryder and Stardust, as we just had mentioned here a little bit ago. Just a quick 6-minute match, but for those that are fans of Zack Ryder looked pretty good. It was a pretty entertaining match, and Ryder didn't completely get jobbed here.
Yeah, I think if Stardust is on the fast track to a Hollywood type feud, they're gonna keep him looking strong. But with as much TV time as Ryder's gotten lately, due to Raw and NXT pay-per-view dark match, it seems like his stock is finally starting to rise in the company. And maybe they finally realized that he's eaten enough shit and he's still there and he's still working his ass off, and maybe they're finally going to reward him for it. So at least that's what I'm hoping for anyway.
Yeah, I agree. Both guys right now have been kind of in quite of a lull, but I mean, we still see Stardust on a week-to-week basis. Ryder, we can go months without seeing him.
Yep.
And so does he need a gimmick change or not?
I really don't think so. I just think he needs to start winning.
Yeah.
I know you said you thought he needed a reboot. I just think he needs time to reconnect with the people. How Ryback in this last run, has been able to get on the microphone and talk to people and explain who he is and his character and whatnot. I think if they let Ryder have some time with the microphone, and connect with the fans that way, like he could with his internet show, while at the same time racking up some wins, I totally can see Ryder's current gimmick working absolutely fine. They just need to let him win a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we're only a couple years removed where he was in a program with John Cena.
Yeah.
I mean, and John Cena is as big as it gets, and the crowd was completely over on him. But I mean, WWE pulled the plug on the Long Island IC show. They basically did about all they could to try to make us forget about him, which kind of was shitty. They should have never pulled the plug on that. I don't know why.
Well, WWE always talks about getting yourself over and grabbing the brass ring and all that stuff. Well, Zack Ryder's the perfect example of someone who did exactly what they told him to, and WWE's response is, well, we didn't want you to get it.
I mean, so there was a time at that height, he was like number 3 with most Twitter followers, probably behind The Rock and Cena.
Yeah, and he was, dude, I was, when he won the United States title from Ziggler, it was in Baltimore. I was there. It was a TLC pay-per-view. And that crowd was freaking hot for that title change. Ryder had arrived. And I was in Madison Square Garden, the month before, and, for Survivor Series. And The Rock's in the ring after the show's gone off the air, and the entire crowd is chanting, "We want Ryder" at The Rock.
Yeah.
And I remember Rock commented on, I can't remember, he said, he's like, "Yeah, I like Ryder too, woo, woo, woo," or something like that. But
kissing the ass.
Huh?
Kissing the ass of the crowd.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, dude, he was on fire at that time. And they were like, "Well, we didn't want you to be on fire, so we're going to bury you." And they did. And as I said, he's eaten a lot of shit over the years, but he hasn't quit. He's built his body up. He's a lot bigger than he used to be. You can obviously tell he's been working hard in the gym. He's fought back from multiple injuries that have put him on the shelf. And if you were a lesser talent, you probably would have just given up and quit, because what's the point of coming back? They're not going to use me right anyway.
Yeah. And then he tries a 450 splash last Monday.
Yeah, to me, as soon as I heard it, he worked the NXT taping, the last one that they ran. And the fact that he's down there doing something with Triple H says to me like Triple H has finally opened his eyes on this guy and said, "You know what, there's something here. You know, let's see what we can do with it." Because in my opinion, if Triple H doesn't like you, he's not bringing you down to work his television show. Because, you know, that's his baby, that's his project. So to suddenly bring Ryder down to work NXT and him showing up on TV more says to me like Triple H is starting to finally take in the liking to the Long Island IZ.
The only downside is he's going to be teaming with Mojo Rawley, which, God, that guy's it's just too much.
You know what? Maybe those two can work.
I'm
so hopeful, man.
That promo he did was like, I just wanted him to shut up.
Yeah, but Ryder's facial reactions made the whole thing work.
Yeah.
And he looked at the girl and he said I was over the top. I bought it. It was the first time I bought the Mojo Rawley character because of Ryder's reaction and them feeding off of each other. There's something there. There might be potential there.
And you know what I think? I think in the end, Ryder turns on him and becomes a heel.
Man, I don't know if you want to heel him right now.
Not now. I'm just saying down the road.
Yeah, maybe. I don't.
Open the door for that, but
I think I think it might be better if Rawley healed Ryder.
Yeah.
You know, just to because we've talked about rebooting Mojo Rawley. So eventually if he heel turns on Ryder, maybe they could get something going on there. I mean, I don't know. For now, I want to see how the tag team experiment works, and see where all this goes.
It's hard to see how good Mojo Rawley is in the ring. I haven't, like I said,
most of his matches have been very quick. Yeah,
and he usually takes the job on a lot of matches, unless he's facing a jobber.
Well, when he started out, he was winning every match. He was like Bull Dempsey.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, he turned into Bull Dempsey now. So,
yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
But that'll if Ryder's on Raw tomorrow, that should tell you something.
I would think so. And one thing I noticed, I don't know if you saw me tweet about it, but the commentators were actually putting him over tonight. Because normally you normally can tell a whole lot about what the people backstage think of somebody by how they treat them on commentary.
Yeah, because they usually put Ryder over as just a jobber.
Exactly, and a joke.
Yeah.
And like how they treated Fandango a couple weeks ago. Remember when he was fighting Eric Rowan on SmackDown, and they were taking bets about how long the match was going to last?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's burying somebody.
Exactly. And the fact that they're not doing that, I'm just, God hope, man. I've been a Zack Ryder fan since, the days of the freaking Edgeheads,
Oh yeah.
So I want good things for him, and I really hope he gets the push that he deserves.
I fully agree, and like you said, let's tune in on Wednesdays. Most of the time when we record our show, our plan is to do it right after NXT airs live. So hopefully we can get you some fresh reaction once he gets onto NXT with how they're using him and such, and how him and Mojo Rawley kind of gel as a tag team. It's gonna be interesting to see. And I think it's fresh to bring people down. It's kind of like sending them down to AAA, in Major League Baseball. Not AAA Mexico, but it's send them down, refine them a little bit, and then they get back up and hopefully become a big star. It's happened for Curtis Axel is one main example. So we'll have to see where it happens. We get the return of Miz TV also on the pre-show. Miz back from filming his little Christmas movie. I think it's called Santa's Little Helper. Summer Rae is in the movie as well. So those two have been in a couple movies together.
Paige was in the movie.
Oh, Paige! I'm sorry, that's right.
Yeah,
I got confused because Summer Rae was in the ring.
Yeah, I think they're going to be joined at the hip for a little bit because of the Marine and what she did to, Damien.
They need to bring back Maurice.
Who you telling?
But,
my favorite diva of all time.
But she's probably making more money as a model anyways, and not having to take bumps. But God, I miss her. Miz TV, Daniel Bryan is the guest, and Miz. I think Miz was doing a little shooting here with kind of cutting character, but. I think he was true to his words, saying that he was hoping for a speedy recovery for Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Before he gets back into his typical Miz persona. But I think that was kind of a cool. I think he did a straight shoot there, which I thought was pretty cool. Daniel Bryan, the key thing about this Miz TV special with Daniel Bryan will be back. His career is not over. We thought so. I mean, we weren't surprised by this at all because the WWE's been constantly talking about him anyways ever since he vacated the title. So
not only do they have that they have that DVD coming out Tuesday.
He'll be on top.
He's got his book coming out in July. So even if they didn't know he was coming back, they have to continue to push his presence on the product this summer, to sell that stuff. Plus
Tough Enough.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to be on Tough Enough as well. So with his. Honestly, just him announcing that for 100% certain he will be back, because he didn't sound that certain 3 weeks ago.
No.
So, to have that affirmation that,
I think that was a work promo, though.
I don't know. Daniels always seems to be the genuine type. And when he says something, he's speaking from his heart. He doesn't really seem like he lets the creative team write his stuff for him.
I think he was just down though because he did this exactly a year ago. But I think honestly he knew he was going to be back eventually. And like I said, they kept talking about him after that for weeks, the next couple of weeks too. So I'm just glad he didn't come back tonight. Oh yeah.
There were so many people online like, "Oh, great would it be if he said, 'Oh, I'm back down, I'm entering the chamber.'" And I'm like, why would you want some dude that that just got hurt coming back from an injury? Why in the hell would you want him in probably the most dangerous match that your company has?
And that makes absolutely no sense because he vacates the title and then he's going to enter in against 6 other guys to get it back. I don't know, but he would probably. Hypothetically, he probably would have been in the match anyways if they still did it. But I think his injury opened the door to making that a chamber match. I don't know if that would have been a chamber match before.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Also, Bryan said he's going to present the Intercontinental title to the winner of the Elimination Chamber match tonight. That was a great moment, I must say. We'll get to that once we get to the match there. But so he'll be there to present the belt to the winner. And then he said people are tired of The Miz and finds Miz to be boring. He says he has a way to fix that. And out come the Mega Powers, and I'm sure Matt enjoyed that one.
I did. I thought it was great. Honest to God, if you hate the Mega Powers, like if you're angry every time these guys come out, you just hate fun. Like, seriously, you're taking the sport of professional wrestling way too seriously if these guys make you angry every time they come out. You know, because I see a handful of people that get like on Twitter get seriously angry when these guys come out and do their stuff, and I'm just like, dude, relax.
I think it's entertaining. I think it's entertaining, but at the same time, I want more from Sandow. I mean, the whole reason for him to break away from The Miz was to get momentum, and he's had all but no momentum since then. With this gimmick ain't going to get him pushed into the title picture anytime soon, for any title of that matter. It's fun to watch, but you know, I think there should be more for Sandow than that.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. No matter what anybody wants to say right now, the main roster, it's crowded.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and with the introduction of Kevin Owens, and who knows who else is coming over the summer, you know, it can get a whole lot more crowded really quickly. So if you're gonna leave Sandow with a character, you might as well leave him with something that's going to get him TV time, because I don't know if if you just leave him as Damian Sandow and you just push him as, you know, just a serious hard-working guy, who's to say he's not going to get lost in the shuffle and lost on the television product? At the end of the day, at least he's on TV almost every week.
Yep,
and,
that equals
that's
money.
Yeah, and that's more than you can say for a lot of the other guys.
Mm-hmm.
So you can make fun of Axelmania and Damian Mandow and Macho Mandow all you want, but at the end of the day, they're on TV and others aren't.
True.
So they're
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I just want more.
No, I completely agree. And you know, in all in due time. And honestly, the way I look at it, if WWE did not like him, they wouldn't be allowing him to play a character like Randy, a character like Randy Savage. You know, I just don't see them allowing that on their product. You know, the
other thing that bothers me also is it was done before with Jay Lethal. You know,
well,
it doesn't bother me, but it's just like, this has been done.
Here's the thing. I like Mandow's mannerisms of Savage a lot, but vocal wise, nobody did it better than Lethal.
Oh God, no.
Lethal was the best. Lethal has some of the best Savage and Flair impressions.
Oh man,
that I've ever heard. They are absolutely fantastic.
Lethal was on Taz's show just recently, and
he got his the Flair thing at the end.
Oh, that was amazing. I've never heard him do Flair before. That was amazing.
Dude, if you haven't heard it, seriously, after we get off the air today, hit YouTube up and just type in Jay Lethal Ric Flair. Because I guarantee there's got to be some TNA stuff up there. And it's him and Flair cutting the promo on each other at Impact. And Lethal's imitating Flair. It's amazing. And
it's not just, you know, the crazy wild Ric Flair. Jay Lethal nails the low tone, the low calm tone of Ric Flair too.
Yep, absolutely.
The pre-show closes out with Eden interviewing Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns showed up as well, and looks like they're gonna get some alcohol ready for a party. God, this just smelled. I mean, even though we know better, it just smelled like Reigns was turning heel all night.
My entire Twitter timeline was like, Reigns heel turn confirmed. He's turning heel. And I'm just like, I don't really see it. You're all expecting something. I was like, since you're all expecting it, it's not going to happen. And I think the wrestling fan is just so trained nowadays to just swerve that they're swerving themselves at this point.
It still felt everything. all the way to the end of the night. It still felt like, oh, there could be a trigger pull here, but we all know Reigns is the next Golden Boy. So
I guess I was the only one who didn't think it was going to happen. I just think they've spent too much time, and too much investment in him as keeping him as the babyface when they could have easily turned him heel. That now that you've gotten 90 to 95% of the crowds to be behind him, why would you then turn him heel afterwards?
Yeah.
It just seems like counterproductive with everything that they're trying to do with his character.
And they've done a hell of a job, and a lot of that has been attributed to Reigns in mic work and in ring work. I mean, he's doing some high-flying kick-ass moves, too. Him jumping over the rope is like Undertaker.
And absolutely. And I think a lot of his involvement with Dean has helped him tremendously.
Has to.
You know, because everybody loves Dean, and the fact that Roman continues to be there for his friend and continues to support him, I think has endeared the Roman Reigns character back to the portion of the crowd that enjoyed him when he was with the Shield. I think it's very smart booking, and I think it would be beyond stupid for everything that they've done for him this year to turn him heel now.
And hopefully it happens vice versa. When it's Roman Reigns' time, Dean Ambrose is there for him. And either way they go, whether Ambrose is supporting him or turns heel, because Ambrose can be a good heel too.
Absolutely.
Seth Rollins could be a top babyface. For those that don't know Tyler Black, Seth Rollins could be the top babyface in the company right now. But instead, he is turned into something many people thought was going to be what Dean Ambrose was going to be.
Exactly. You know, I thought when the Shield was going to break up, that Dean was going to be the one.
And we're going to
be the heel.
On this Thursday's episode 19 of Lost in the Midcard, we're going to do our nominations for our mid-season. We haven't even named our award yet, but the mid-season WWE awards. I don't know. I kind of like the we had what was one of the suggestions was the Jobbies.
Jobbies.
And what was the other one? I can't remember what the other one was.
I think like the Marquis or something like that.
The Marquis, yes, yeah. The Marquis. What do you like better out of the Jobbies or the Marquis?
I think they're both hysterical. And, you know, if you guys want to shout out in the comments or throw it on Facebook or send it to us on Twitter with what you guys like the best, you know, maybe we'll run with a fan vote.
I like the Marquis because we mark out a lot with how good things are in the WWE.
What? If you can't mark out, man.
And I like the Jobbies.
What are you doing watching the product anyway? You got to be able to mark out.
I know, and I like the Jobbies because we're lost in the mid-card, so the Jobbies kind of fits with our persona here. So yeah, let us know if you like the Jobbies or the Marquis for our mid-season award. We are going to do our nominations this Thursday, and then we will give our mid-season award winners out on the post-show for Money in the Bank 2 weeks from tonight. We are now into the main card for the Elimination Chamber. We kick it off with the tag team title match, something brand new that's never been done inside that Elimination Chamber, which debuted in 2002. So it's pretty cool that you got a concept that's been around 13 years and you can still do something fresh with it. 6 tag teams in the match. The New Day are the champions. Kid and Cesaro, the Primetime Players, and Los Matadores fill the 4 pods in. That means we get ourselves an NXT match to start the Elimination Chamber with the Lucha Dragons and the Ascension.
Why the hell did El Torito get to stay in the chamber?
I don't know, but I thought it was kind of funny when they entered the ring and he jumped off the pod, though. That was kind of.
Well, I just figured, I'm like, you know, if El Torito gets, I mentioned it on Twitter, like, well, if El Torito gets to sit on top of the pod, why can't Natalya?
Yeah, true. Yeah. Well, I liked how he stood on top of the pod, kind of like a mascot. You know,
I was honestly surprised they didn't involve him until they got involved in the match. I will give them credit; they didn't, you know, they didn't have that stupid bull get involved before the Matadores actually entered the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was so happy they got booted first.
I just
want to clarify that. Even though it was to the Ascension, I was so happy to see them get out of there.
Yeah, Kid and Cesaro entered third into the chamber. Los Matadores entered fourth, and they did not stay for long. Fall of Man was hitting on them by the Ascension, and God, why did I just not put Harper and Rowan in here? That was a waste of an entry into the elimination.
Here's the thing: the more I think about it, the more I think WWE chose to do this to protect Harper and Rowan, because if they weren't ready to put the titles on them, they didn't want them losing in a match. So I kind of think the reason why Harper and Rowan weren't in the chamber is because they're not ready to pull the trigger on them and let them win the titles, and they want to keep them strong for now. That's just my opinion. If I had to guess of why they weren't in there, it was they're trying to keep those two strong.
I want to make a point here, but first let's get to the end of this here before I make my point. Lucha Dragons were eliminated by the Ascension. See, the Ascension looking really strong in this match to start out with. And then the Ascension are eliminated with by the Primetime Players. Kind of bang, 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 everybody's getting eliminated real quick. I was kind of wishing for all 12 men to be in the ring at once just for some fun chaos.
Well, chaos is definitely a good word to describe the chamber matches tonight. They were definitely chaotic. And sometimes in a good way and sometimes in a bad way.
Yeah. So we're down to two teams left after the Ascension we're down to two teams left in the ring with the Ascension getting eliminated by the Primetime Players. So we get a little Primetime Players against Kid and Cesaro. And this is where I put my Strategy 101 book out there and say, why didn't you guys just not beat each other up and wait for a New Day to enter and beat the hell out of them, make it 4-on-3? Instead of beating the shit out of each other before a New Day entered the ring.
Because sometimes in wrestling they forget to use logic, sir.
Kind of like when Mark Henry broke up a pin in the Intercontinental title match. It's like, why do you break up a pin? That's one less guy.
Yeah, anytime you break up a pin in an Elimination Chamber match, it makes my head hurt.
So the New Day do get in and start to kind of clean house while both Kid and Cesaro and the Primetime Players are beat down a little bit. As they are kind of getting ready to do the old Cesaro swing, they do that, actually pull it off, but then Darren Young pulls up a little roll-up on Cesaro, and out goes Cesaro and Kid, much to the dismay of the internet wrestling community.
There were some pissy people.
We get Primetime Players and New Day, the last two teams in the event. And I like the action between these two teams. I think it was the best action in the chamber tonight, was when it was down to these two teams. Obviously, a New Day was allowed to have all three of their guys in the ring at the same time, thanks to helping out the Authority, and thanks to helping out the Authority, they were the last to enter the chamber. But in the end, Trouble in Paradise was hit by Kofi Kingston, and all three of the New Day guys cover Titus O'Neil for the win after 25 minutes into that chamber match. It was a decent match. I'd say a solid average match, and I think when they got down to the two teams, I think the action got a little better.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I would have liked to have blamed some of the cluster fuckery of that match on the fact that there were just so many people involved as compared to a regular Elimination Chamber, but you saw a lot of the same stuff in the Intercontinental title one later on. So I don't know. It wasn't an amazing match, but by the time the final, like you said, by the time the final two guys were in there and working, I thought it came together a lot better. Mm-hmm. Once they got all the other people out of the way of their match.
Yeah, I would like to see a Primetime Players New Day feud, and then at the same time, I want to see a Kid and Cesaro, Harper and Rowan feud. I'd like to see have two tag team feuds going on at the same time there. I'd kind of like to see those two teams kind of mix it up. I think I think Primetime Players probably will be next in line for the tag titles.
That's certainly what it seems like.
But I think a New Day will probably retain there, and then they might get another program with Kid and Cesaro, and then I think maybe Kid and Cesaro probably finally dethrone them, and then maybe that's where Harper and Rowan finally kind of get their shine. Obviously, this is kind of months of playing out in the tag team division, but I think that's how I see it kind of playing out down in the future.
Makes sense.
Divas title match on the line. Next up with a triple threat match. No companions at ringside, so no Brie Bella, no Tamina. King made a comment of he didn't like it because there's less to look at, but there's only one less to look at because I don't know if you want to look at Tamina or not. She looks mean.
She definitely looks mean, and a lot of the times she looks a lot like her father.
That does
not make me as somebody that really wants to look at you. No offense. But her dad was never a good-looking dude.
No.
That's all I gotta say.
As Bobby Heenan would say, he hit every ugly branch on the way down.
Good old Bobby the Brain.
Nikki Bella, Naomi, and Paige are the card here for this triple threat match. Some great action there. With Nikki getting slammed into the ring or into the announce table and that, but it's only a 6-minute match. But the first half was good. They got kind of sloppy, didn't you think?
Naomi got pretty sloppy. I mean, it's what it came down to.
Now and then, like when Nikki went off the top rope and completely whiffed, was that on purpose or what the hell happened?
Well, it looked like Paige shoved Naomi out of the way. So because it looked like she was going to hit Naomi, it looked like Paige knocked her out of the way when she went to hit that spinning heel kick off the top rope. So I mean, I didn't really I thought it was a planned miss.
I think the angle that they shot the landing made it look like a fuck up.
Yeah, I thought that spot was a planned miss. But I mean, Naomi was not good tonight at all. And honestly, everybody I know there's some Naomi supporters out there, and a lot of people are questioning why she hasn't had a run with the championship. I mean, you can really look no further than tonight for why she hasn't had a run with the title. She's not that good. And
I mean, the four girls in NXT blow her away by far.
Oh, absolutely. And if you go and watch Paige and Nikki work together one-on-one, I mean, there's not even a comparison to their one-on-one match compared to Naomi wrestling one of them one-on-one. It's a night and day difference.
And Nikki has improved tremendously.
Yeah, and she
used to be terrible.
I still don't think she gets enough credit for how good she is in the ring right now. Because
she used to be terrible.
She did. Both the Bellas were not good. And they've both got tremendously better. But I think Nikki has been head and shoulders over Bray. And I think that's because of her boyfriend. Well, that's what I'm saying. Honestly, I think because of her dating who she's dating, I still don't think she gets the credit that she deserves. Yeah. I think a lot of people are like, yeah, she's only champ because she's dating John Cena and
that's not
blah,
true,
blah, blah. But there's people out there that think that.
Well, of course.
And, I don't think it's fair. I think you gotta look at what she's done and look at her body of work. And honestly, I would love to see her down in NXT working against somebody like Charlotte or Sasha Banks or somebody like that, and let her have, a 15-minute match with one of those girls, because I think they would tear the house down. I really do.
And I kind of wish. I mean, this match probably would have been a lot better if they would have given maybe 10 to 12 minutes instead of 6.
And
but
I mean, totally had more time.
The 6 is.
They had plenty of time on the show tonight. There was a lot of fluff between the Intercontinental Chamber and the main event.
Yeah.
So they wanted to. They totally could have given them more time tonight, and they chose not to. So.
And before we started recording, we were hoping we would get done by the time the Kevin Owens and Cena match started, but nope, that's starting right now. So, but that's okay. It's on demand. We'll find it later, and we're going to talk about it here in just a bit.
You can replay that anytime you want.
I'm going to replay that fucker many times. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that, but first, as we, this is our second edition of the pay-per-view special since we have moved to Thursdays on Lost in the Midcard. And as a special treat, we throw in a special top 5 for you in the middle of our pay-per-view review. And this week, we are going to do top 5 assholes of all time in the WWE. This isn't good heels, There's a difference between being a heel and an asshole. And these guys definitely set the benchmark for being an asshole. And then in 2 weeks, we'll have another top 5. Matt's going to pick it. Have you decided yet what you want to do?
I haven't decided yet, but I have 2 weeks. I have 2 weeks. I'll figure it out. I'm always open to suggestions. If you want to tweet at me with something you guys would like to hear, maybe we can roll with something like that. But, we'll come up with something fun in 2 weeks for Money in the Bank.
What brought up the top assholes is obviously Kevin Owens is in the limelight now in the WWE, and he's a great asshole.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Is he going to be on our top 5? Well,
we're going to have to find out.
Number 5, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to give you 2. I got a tie for 5.
Oh, you tying son of a bitch.
The reason why I'm tying because the reason why I've got this tie is because they're 2 similar paths, 2 similar stories, 2 real life stories that turned into storylines in the WWE, and that is CM Punk and Bret Hart. Those are my number 5 WWE best asshole of all time. CM Punk.
I didn't even think about Punk.
Both Punk and Bret Hart were felt like they were being mistreated in the WWE, and they aired their grievances out. Basically, both were given a live mic to shoot their promos, and basically with no filter. Obviously, Punk got cut off when he started talking about the old bullying campaign with Vince McMahon, but still, he said a lot. I mean, you know, he calls out John Laurinaitis. He calls out Dwayne for being a big ass kisser. You know, he's like, Cena's not even the biggest ass kisser. That goes to Dwayne.
Yeah.
And that, and obviously the pipe bomb moment there. But obviously, Bret Hart's was almost the first time that the fourth wall was broken, I think. Don't you think, Matt?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if it's been done in the past, it was never done to the extent of what CM Punk did. I mean, that promo will live in infamy for, you know, as long as, you know, pro wrestling is in existence.
Yeah, but I meant for Bret Hart, wasn't that kind of the first time that reality, that fourth wall kind of showed itself into the forefront with wrestling?
I never really thought Bret Hart had that moment.
Well, he did cut a promo.
Oh, but I mean, he's cut several promos. Are you talking about the one where he apologized to every country in the world except for the United States?
No, he cut a promo on Vince on Raw one night, I believe. I don't
remember that at all.
I think so. I'm pretty sure. Matt, who do you got for your number 5?
My number 5 is actually the guy we were just talking about. Kevin Owens. I definitely think, you know, I don't want to put him any higher because he hasn't been there long enough. But, you know, he is the epitome of an asshole. And he absolutely is. And, you know, he plays it off so perfectly that he's a lovable asshole. Honestly, I just, you know.
Hashtag lovable asshole.
Yes, and he plays it so well. You know, he plays the family card. You know, I'm doing this for my family. I am champion so I can feed my family and give them a better life. You know, it's such, you know, it's supposed to be something that a face would say, but he comes across like such an asshole for the way he justifies his actions. It's beautiful. And I think we've only begun to see how great Kevin Owens is going to be in the future with WWE.
And as a good segue, my number 4 is Kevin Owens.
There we
go. Initially, I had him at 2, and then I thought about it a little more, and obviously I got 3 that are much better. But obviously, in the end, you know, Owens might work his way up there, but he's the inspiration for me doing this top 5, so he has to be on the list. And for everything you said, it's all true. And then, of course, if you watch the phenomenal match from tonight at Elimination Chamber, even more assholery by Kevin Owens. And I actually got the matches on right now as we're recording, and goddamn, was that not a good match. We'll talk about that in just a moment, but we got to get back to our assholes. Number 4 for you, Matt.
My number 4 is actually somebody who's also currently with the company right now, Sheamus. Mm-hmm. You can't tell me, you know, when the guy started off, he was an asshole. I mean, absolutely, the epitome of an asshole. When he started in ECW and came over, he was like the bad asshole. You know what I mean? I don't even know if that's a good expression, a bad asshole. I don't know, but
hashtag bad asshole.
Yes, he was great. I thought he was a phenomenal asshole, you know, for that. And now with him back. In this iteration, he plays an asshole again, but it's more the whiny, slimy, cheap, bitter asshole. He's playing a different type of asshole now, but he's still an asshole. If
you got braids in your beard, you're an asshole.
It's hard to argue that point. Exactly. It really is.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. My number 3 is didn't spend most of his time in the WWE, but he spent a good chunk of it in the WWE, so he qualifies as my number 3 asshole. Woo! Ric Flair. Guy comes out wearing sunglasses, an expensive suit, alligator shoes, telling you how much he's whining and dining with the ladies, jet flying, limousine riding, and just was an asshole. His days with the Four Horsemen, they were assholes. I think Ole Anderson is an asshole in real life, from what I've heard anyways. But this guy flaunted it, but he backed it up. And strutting in the ring, wooing, getting in your face, getting you all pissed off. He even did it when he became the general manager of Raw in Vince McMahon's face, Just a true great asshole, I think, in Ric Flair. What do you got for number 3, Matt?
I went old school with my final couple picks, and I'm starting off number 3 with Jesse the Body Ventura.
Oh, there we go.
And damn, that guy was an absolute asshole, whether it was on the mic talking trash to somebody, on commentary with Vince. He was hashtag funny asshole.
Oh yeah.
And he was so great at it, and he was the epitome. He was the epitome of a heel, and he was just one of those guys that you were just like, wow. If you saw him on the street, you wanted to punch him in the face.
Yeah. Because I think some people still do with his conspiracy theories.
Probably, I wouldn't doubt it. But yeah, some would even say he's still an asshole today. But I'm more talking about his gimmick in the '80s than I'm talking about anything else. I thought he was great.
I love hearing him talk. He always has passion, meaning, and good intellect with how he talked, and yeah, fully agree. He was a funny asshole. My number 2 is Stone Cold Steve Austin. This is a guy that didn't give a shit. Austin 3:16 says, "I just whooped your ass." He was supposed to be this hated heel, but his ability to be a great asshole turned him into the biggest star in the company's history. Being an asshole to his boss, but at the same time, he wouldn't give a shit if you got in his way. If you were a good guy, you were a bad guy, you were still getting stunned. It didn't matter. Gets in the face of Mike Tyson, and the obviously the stories with him and Vince McMahon is far beyond comparison of any feud ever in the WWE. But this guy stunned JR. He would stun his mama if it meant he could get to the WWE title. Somebody call my mama. But my number 2 asshole of all time in the WWE, Stone Cold Steve Austin. How about you, Matt?
Yeah, I loved Austin. I never really saw him as an asshole, and maybe that was just me in the era that I was living in. I saw him more of as an anti-hero than an asshole. So I mean, he's not on my top 5, but I totally see how you could put him on there. So, it's good. I like it. I can't lie.
Sorry, I'm watching Owens going off the top rope right now.
Dude, could you believe when that one? Are you talking about the spot where he jumped from the second rope to the top rope and went for the moonsault?
No, this is the he got knocked into his nuts, and then is getting ready to do the suplex off the top.
Oh, okay. I was just the moonsault thing blew me away. A guy that big able to pull that off.
We're not even to the Cena-Owens match yet on Lost in the Midcard, but we can't stop talking about it.
I know, I'm sorry. I know.
No, I brought it up.
Yeah, that's true. We'll get back to the countdown, because the quicker we're done with the countdown, the quicker we can talk about that match.
Exactly. Number 2, Matt.
Number 2, the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Dude, who else is going to bring a little kid up, offer him money if he can dribble a basketball 10 times? And he does it 9 times, and before he can do it the 10th time, he kicks the basketball out and makes the kid cry.
Yep.
I mean, he made Virgil rub his feet. He had servants. He treated everybody like garbage. He shoved money down people's throats. Ted DiBiase was one hell of an asshole.
Yeah, I could have easily replaced Stone Cold with Ted DiBiase. I agree. I kind of thought of DiBiase, but I didn't give it as much thought. But then when you mentioned the kid with the basketball, I completely forgot about that. I'm like, and he kicks the ball on number 10.
He made people come in and kiss his feet for money. I mean, some of the stuff he did, he was the epitome of an asshole.
That's a great asshole. Hashtag that's a great asshole. See how many of these we can get trending on Twitter.
We are totally in asshole mode tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
We are now at our number 1 asshole. Okay, there's no doubt this guy's number 1, because this is the guy that that was the reason behind the WWE Universe chanting asshole, Vincent Kennedy McMahon. And I bet you there's a lot of former employees that would say he's an asshole.
I can't argue that.
There's probably a lot of commentators that would say he's an asshole. There are probably a lot of wrestlers there that will say he's an asshole when they leave the WWE. Then you get to the on-screen character of Mr. McMahon. Put that all together, his real life and his character. There ain't no doubt that Vince McMahon is the number 1 asshole.
It's hard to argue. And honestly, it's amazing that our lists, the only one we had an agreement on there was Kevin Owens.
Just because he was the reason to do it.
Yeah, I mean, we had completely different picks, but honestly, every single one you can make a case for. I kind of went out of right field with my number 1 pick, but I think you'll respect it. It's not Vince, obviously, because we continue to pick differently. But my number 1 asshole in the history of the WWE, Bobby the Brain Heenan. He was the brain. I mean, go back and watch his work from the 80s as, running the Heenan family or doing commentary with Gorilla, or go back and watch some of his Tuesday night skits or primetime wrestling skits with Gorilla Monsoon.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely phenomenal. He played the asshole so well to the straight man in Gorilla Monsoon. It was magic. And those two will totally go down as my favorite commentary duo of all time. I thought they were fantastic together, and they made each other work.
Will you stop?
Yeah, dude, I still do that to this day. If someone's annoying me, I will do the Gorilla Monsoon. Will you stop? It's a timeless classic, and Bobby the Brain was just an absolute asshole.
I considered Bobby on my list, but I considered him more of a weasel than an asshole. Well, he was the weasel, but it definitely fits. Well, obviously, Matt and I don't compile our lists before we get on the air. We completely keep them separate. So it was kind of cool to see two angles of the asshole. If you want to hashtag 2 angles of the asshole.
Oh my God, so much asshole talk.
You got any more on Heenan that you want to talk about?
No.
Outside of the fact that it's sad to see the shape he's in right now, but he's still out there. He's still out there. Yeah, he's still out there signing for the fans, though. I mean, he doesn't have to do it, and he's still out there.
He's a great guy. He really is. And if you're not familiar with his work, the WWE Network is a hell of a toll. Get on there, go in the search, type in Bobby Heenan, and go back and watch some of his stuff. And I think you'll be blown away by how ahead of his time that he was. And honestly, I think all top 3 people on my list were very much ahead of their time.
Oh yeah.
And if you plug them into modern day WWE, I think all of them would excel tremendously and wouldn't have any problem whatsoever getting over.
Oh my God!
I was gonna say, I know you're pumping yourself up right now because I know what's coming up. So.
I just right now live on the WWE Network. The teased package pile driver was just
yeah, dude. I flipped my shit for a second. I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna do a package pile driver.
All right, we've been referencing the match all night long because holy shit was it amazing. Kevin Owens, John Cena. Champion versus champion, though no title on the line. Owens was getting booed, which is cool. But he did get a much bigger pop than 2 weeks ago when he debuted on Raw. I think, obviously, a lot of the more hardcore fans are at the pay-per-views, so I think that's probably not a surprise that Owens got a big pop. But he also got booed, which was kind of cool, probably from all the women and kids.
Yeah, there's a lot of Cena fans in the crowd. And for the Cena fans to already view him as a threat enough to boo him, that's a hell of a thing.
Some people said they heard Cena calling out his spots quite a bit loudly.
I only heard it right at the very beginning.
Yeah.
And I didn't hear, but it was very clear as day, like in the first 30 seconds of the match, during the headlock spot, you could clearly hear Cena call out one of the opening spots of the match.
Yeah, and I mean, that stuff doesn't really bother me.
No, it doesn't bother me either.
I mean, these two guys haven't worked together, and this is probably the first time Owens has worked in an arena of that magnitude, I think. I mean, there might be some overseas shows that have been pretty big, but yeah, I mean, obviously this is your first WWE match, and these two guys have, it's hard telling how long they've been working together, so yeah, that stuff doesn't bother me. It bothers some people, but shit, who cares? Owens was doing a lot of beating up of Cena and posing and showing off, and because he's an asshole. He made our asshole list, so there's a good reason why. I think the biggest once the match really started kicking into gears when Cena kicked out of that first pop-up powerbomb. I'm sure the internet wrestling community probably thought, "Oh great, here we go," but no. What happened after that first pop-up powerbomb was phenomenal.
I thought the whole match was phenomenal.
It was a good setup. A lot of Owens, kind of running it in the face of Cena in the beginning. A little bit of offense by Cena, but I think overall Owens had the upper hand for most of that beginning part. Sorry, I'm watching a replay of. Holy shit! Yeah,
I don't blame you, man. Honestly, the only reason it's not on right now for me is because I didn't want to be distracted by it.
And actually, you were right. That was the moonsault. Or no, wait. Yeah, that was the moonsault. What was first, the moonsault or the
moonsault? He did the moonsault first. Then he did the side suplex thing, and then he did the swanton.
God, when he got up to the second rope and jumped up to the top rope.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like for a big man to be able to do that. And honestly, to Kevin Owens, to John Cena, I do this gimmick almost every week. But seriously, guys, there it is.
Swig of beer for the working man.
It's just my hat's off to both of you. And it wasn't just a one-person match. For all the John Cena haters out there that want to give this dude shit, this match would not have happened. This match would not have been as good. And this match would not have been giving you the result that everybody wanted if it wasn't for John Cena. So, just recognize that this was a two-man job tonight, and both of them aced it to perfection. And I couldn't be happier for how it was great. As I said, I know you're watching it right now. I'm totally going to watch it. I'm totally going to when we go off the air here because I want to watch it again myself.
It just got over, by the way. So, but yeah, after Owens hits the moonsault, Cena hits the AA. but Kevin Owens kicked out of it. Holy cow! This ain't going to be the old job for Kevin Owens just quite yet. Owens did a little Cena hand taunt, but then Cena put him up into the STF, and then Owens got out of it. And this was my favorite part of the match. Owens put Cena up on his shoulders and did the "you can't see me" and threw the AA onto Cena.
I hate to say this, and I'm not saying this to bash Cena. Please don't take it the wrong way. I thought Owens' attitude adjustment looked better than Cena's. Because I thought it looked more devastating. I thought it looked like a move that had more impact than Cena's move does. So I'm not saying it, honest to God, I'm not saying that to bash John Cena. I thought the move as it was performed by Owens looked better than it's done when Cena does it.
Cena hit his Famouser off the top rope on the back. Owens sold that one really good. Look at his. If you go back and watch that match, look at Owens' face when right after Cena hits that Famouser from the top rope. That was pretty cool. Owens kicked out of that little Famouser attempt, a pinned attempt after the Famouser, and then Owens hits the package powerbomb. We all mark out because Owens' finisher in Ring of Honor was a package pile driver. Obviously, the WWE does not want him to use a package pile driver, I'm assuming. But still, the package powerbomb is a good compromise for us to see, to remember the good old days. Cena kicks out of the package powerbomb for a 2 count. That's where Owens starts to get a little bit frustrated, and then the Cena hits the springboard stunner. Then that's where I thought Owens was going to do the JOB. But instead of Cena going for the AA after the springboard stunner, he only covered him for a count of 2, and that is where we had the part where Cena went for a superplex, but instead Owens countered it into his own suplex out of the corner. That was just a beautiful move, Owens hits a senton, and then Cena gets back up with the clothesline. You know, we thought, oh shit, here comes the old 5 moves of doom by Cena. As he goes for one more clothesline, Owens ducked it and hit a second pop-out powerbomb. 1, 2, 3. And just like when Brock Lesnar pinned The Undertaker, we got some great reaction in the crowd. The first cut into the crowd is a guy wearing a KO shirt just losing his shit. Kind of like we all were. We were all losing our shit. They cut to another guy that looked stunned as hell. I don't know if he was sad or stunned or what, but... oh my God!
How bad do you feel for turning your back on Kevin Owens, JB? You gave the whole spiel on the predictions, every reason that Kevin Owens should win, and you swerved and went back and voted for John Cena.
I know.
Honest.
I did not think they would pull this trigger. I did not think they would pull a clean trigger either.
Yeah,
everybody and their dog.
That's an even bigger shocker. You know, you'd think if the slim chance that Owens was going to win, it would not have been clean. So yeah, it's incredible.
Oh, God, it was phenomenal. God, we're gonna have our work cut out for us in the midseason awards for Match of the Year because, I mean, we're gonna have to we're gonna have to look at Ambrose and Rollins. We're going to have to look at the triple threat at Royal Rumble, the triple threat or the WrestleMania, and then we got this match now. We got our work cut out for us. I think we're going to have to do a little Ron Jaworski and break down some tape in order to come up with a winner here.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard.
How do you want to do it? Do you want to each have a winner, or we both kind of compromise and pick? I think we should just kind of both work together to pick a winner.
We'll work together. We'll make it work.
Yeah. Well, we won't give you 2 separate ones. We're going to give you just one definitive marquee or jobby. 21 minutes was the time for Cena and Owens. Oh, I thought it was a lot longer. It felt long, but it was amazing from start to finish. Look at the WWE crowd. You can see that the win was unexpected. Kevin Owens has arrived. Officially, I mean, this match puts him on the map. The casual fan knows this guy now. I assume at Raw tomorrow on Monday night here, he's going to get a huge ovation.
It's
Huge.
gonna be nuts.
I don't know where Raw's at tomorrow, but I don't think it matters.
I believe it's in San Antonio.
It's going to be huge.
I'm pretty sure it's in San Antonio.
After the match, Kevin Owens grabs a mic, and he says, "I'm the man that started a fight with John Cena, but I'm also the man who finished the fight. And now that I've beaten John Cena, I have some veteran advice.
I loved it.
It's time for you to go because your time is way up, and my time is now because the champ is here." Great promo to cap off an amazing match. Just amazing.
As Ric Flair would say, with a tear in my eye. It was amazing.
Or as Ric Flair said, to be the man, you got to beat the man. And tonight,
That's
Kevin
true.
Owens beat the man. So somehow we got to come down from that match, but at least we get ourselves a good matchup with the match itself. Neville and Bo Dallas, they've had better matches.
The match itself was solid and it was good. It's just the problem was everybody was still attempting to come down from the high of Owens and Cena, and it was just really hard to invest in it at that time. It
was pretty short, too. That kind of killed it. I mean, these guys have had long, lengthy matches in NXT that have been phenomenal. I think, I honestly think the crowd was kind of quiet, but there was still some electricity for Neville, which was good.
The crowd had its moments tonight.
The crowd still loved Neville, and the way they've built up Neville has been perfect in the WWE. I mean, have him be who he is, and he's on quite the winning streak now, so I could assume he's going to probably fight for that Intercontinental title or U.S. title sometime soon.
He's in Money in the Bank, bro.
Yep, he's in Money in the Bank. Well, yeah, he's not going to win Money in the Bank, but yeah.
You don't know.
We'll talk about that.
I'll tell you who's not winning Money in the Bank. That's Kofi Kingston.
Yeah.
But,
wouldn't that be funny if he did, though?
Dude, I would lose my shit.
New Day?
If Kofi Kingston was carrying around the Money in the Bank briefcase when they were the tag team champions.
I like the fact that they're putting him in that match, though. We'll run that down here in just a little bit.
And also, I don't know if you heard it, but they made it very clear that that's not the final 6.
No,
that there's going to be more. So
8 or 9.
And I automatically assumed Dean was going to be added in. But after tonight, I would think he rematches Rollins in 2 weeks. So I don't know. Maybe they throw Bray in. I'm very curious to see who they add into that match now. And as I said, you're right. We'll talk about it later. I'm jumping everywhere. It was a good night. I can't help it.
Well, we could talk about we'll talk about that before we get to the Intercontinental match. Yeah, 6 guys have been announced. Dolph Ziggler, Neville, Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, Kofi Kingston, and Sheamus are all in the match. I am still going to probably stick true to my word. Unless he's not in the match, I'm going Bray Wyatt all the way until he's not in the match. Then I'll have to change my mind. But
out of the 6 people you have in there right now, my money's on Roman Reigns.
Yep, I agree.
So
unless Sheamus, they got bigger plans for him, but I don't know.
I don't see, because I see it as the summer of Rollins.
Yeah.
And when the title gets back to somebody else, it's probably going to be Brock. And I just can't see Sheamus cashing in on Brock Lesnar.
That'd be great if
I can definitely see Roman doing it though.
That'd be great if Roman Reigns is coming down the crowd with a briefcase and someone snatches it.
Oh my God.
Hey, that could be me because I think I'm sitting in Roman Reigns' entrance aisle here at SmackDown in July. So
do not steal his briefcase, JB.
I will touch it though.
Okay, you can touch it, but don't steal it.
Hopefully, I don't miss and hit his penis. But was that excitement? Was that excitement coming from you? Oh, I thought you had that was excitement coming from you.
No, it was sad and disappointment, sir.
I thought you had a rhino boner there for a minute. The drama for the mystery man in the Elimination Chamber was
Not that much.
Revealed right away. Yeah, not much drama either. But revealed right away as the first guy to enter the cage. Mark Henry makes his return. My guess was Bray Wyatt. Or no, wait, I can't even remember what my guesses were. My dark horse was Randy Orton, and my guess was The Miz. But neither one were right. Mark Henry in there. Sheamus, R-Truth, Ryback, King Barrett, Dolph Ziggler. Barrett and Ziggler start things off. The King of the Ring gets buried when R-Truth pins you, as R-Truth eliminates King Barrett, but we all didn't think King Barrett was going to win anyways.
Yeah, but we didn't think he'd lose to R-Truth.
No. When Sheamus went to get into the pod, he was stuck in his pod, and I think it was kind of on purpose. He had to put a little pin in there, and we found out that he put a little pin in there. Why did he pull that pin? Why didn't he just wait until there was like 2 people left or something, or maybe just 1?
Because I guess everybody was laid out, and it was time for him to ask us if we were entertained or not.
Once again, strategy 101. So,
and it wasn't a pin. He was using his cross necklace.
Oh, was that what that was?
Yeah, but it was the Celtic cross necklace
to block the door from being opened.
Yeah.
R-Truth gets eliminated by Ryback. Mark Henry gets eliminated by Sheamus. Dolph Ziggler gets eliminated by Sheamus. And much like the tag team pay-per-view match, this match kind of fell flat, but was pretty good for the final 2 with Sheamus and Ryback, and going back and forth, inside, outside of the ring, using every little piece of the chamber as a weapon. But finally, after Shell Shock has been landed on Sheamus, finally, Ryback gets his first singles title as he wins the Intercontinental Championship at the Elimination Chamber. Yeah, long overdue, well-deserved.
I really like how Daniel Bryan put him over, too.
Yeah, a lot of people were happy for Ryback winning his first singles title finally. A lot of people, obviously he's told his story. And post-match, when the chamber rose up, Daniel Bryan entered the ring, presented the title. Daniel Bryan said congratulations in order to the Ryback. I love when he calls him the Ryback.
He was the one who originated the Ryback.
Yep. Bryan had asked the crowd if he deserved it. A huge pop from the crowd. Bryan said he deserved it. Led some yes chants. Ryback grabs the mic and says that he's an inspiration to he's not just an inspiration to the people. Daniel Bryan is an inspiration to the big guy too, and he thanked him. They shook hands, raised each other's hands. Daniel Bryan led the "Feed Me More" chant. I think it was just a cool moment.
I felt genuine, honestly, between both guys, and it was a feel good moment on the pay-per-view. It was something I feel like Ryback totally deserves this title reign. He should have had a title. He should have had a mid-card title reign 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that he's finally getting it now, I think it's not 3 years. I'm probably more like 2 years ago. But I mean, still, regardless, it's still awesome that he's finally he's finally getting the title that he deserves. And I hope they let him have a nice long run with it.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously there's a bond between Daniel Bryan and Ryback. They both came in together as NXT and members of the Nexus before the ridiculous firing of Daniel Bryan.
I didn't even think about that. You're right.
Yeah, before the ridiculous firing of Daniel Bryan with the old Justin Roberts tie choking incident.
Thanks, Mattel.
But yeah, those two have come up together. Obviously, a lot of respect between the two, so it was a great moment to see in the ring. A plug for Steve Austin's podcast that is coming to you after Raw on Monday night. What? We will break that down for you, give you some highlights. Wait. Oh, it's going to be fun.
You know what? I actually sat down this weekend and I watched Jericho and Stephanie's podcast. It was a lot better than his one with Cena.
Yeah.
So I'd recommend going out of your way to watch it. The only problem is it's not listed. If you go into the original section of the network now, the only podcast that's listed is Stone Cold's. So to find Jericho's interview with Cena and Stephanie, you actually have to go into search and search Chris Jericho.
That's weird.
Yeah, so I don't know if that was something they took it down because of Austin coming back, because I know it used to be there. But when I went to find it, the only podcast up there now is Austin. So I had to go search Chris Jericho's name to find his podcast with Cena and Stephanie. And honestly, if you didn't see the Stephanie one, I would suggest going back and watching it, because it was actually pretty good. And I'm super looking forward to Austin and Heyman. I've heard these guys talk before on Austin's podcast, but you know what? I have a feeling we're going to get a special treat tonight after Raw. So
yeah, definitely. It was announced just before the main event at Elimination Chamber tonight. We're going to get a rematch between John Cena and Kevin Owens at Money in the Bank in 2 weeks, which can't complain after the match they had tonight. So
I can.
You can?
I can.
What are you complaining about?
Because honestly, that was my groan-worthy moment of the pay-per-view. Because I'm so how as a wrestling fan can you not just be terrified that Cena's just going to take his win back in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
And that's what bothered me. I'm like, really? You couldn't even give us this. You couldn't even give us this one night.
Or is he?
You know, dude. Oh, if he beat him again,
you never know.
It would be ridiculous. But I mean, you couldn't even give us one night of amazement. You know, you have to tell us in 2 weeks they're fighting again. You know, it's just
this
like,
would be great if
let me have this one night.
This would be great if this is the recreation of the Tommy Dreamer Raven feud in ACW, where Cena loses for like a year straight to just Kevin Owens. He just cannot beat him. Every time they fight, he loses.
I'd be okay with that.
That'd be kind of funny. Main event time for the WWE World Heavyweight title. Seth Rollins comes out with the usual suspects. No Roman Reigns with Dean Ambrose, as Triple H kind of quelled that, as Reigns had made his intentions known that he was going to be in the corner of Ambrose for the match. But, no. He said if he gets involved in the match, he will be disqualified. So he didn't even come to the ring with Ambrose. Again, I mean, this was, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose. There's not much to say about it. I mean, these guys in the ring are just phenomenal. So there's no surprise there. I was really, one thing I mentioned on Twitter was kind of the sequence of pinfalls and everything, was the timing and the pacing. Everything between the two were just phenomenal. And I even called out referee John Cone with how well he was officiating the match too. I thought just the sequences and the pinfalls were great all throughout the match.
Yeah, I just can't. I can't help but being I couldn't help but be disappointed by the way the match ended.
This was kind of weird.
It was a dusty finish. We haven't seen it in a long time. So I mean, overall it worked, and the fact that how it ended and how they went off the air, I'm willing to run with it and see where it goes. But I mean, it definitely I don't know. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I thought it was a great match. I don't know. I'm a little indifferent on the main event. If that makes sense.
I said on Twitter if for Ambrose, obviously I'm a big Ambrose fan, have been for years, and I said on Twitter I'm going to lose my shit if Ambrose is, I lost my shit when Owens went over clean. I'm really going to lose my shit when if Ambrose wins the WWE World Heavyweight title. As usual, a lot of distractions and such, and Ambrose went for an elbow attack, and Rollins put John Cone in front of him. So we get a ref bump. We don't see ref bumps too often anymore, so when we do get one, it actually means something, because they don't do it every time like they did in the Attitude Era. After John Cone went down, Ambrose hit Dirty Deeds, but the referee's out. You could have counted to 5. All of a sudden, we get a replacement referee in, and amazingly enough, the ref counts 1, 2, 3. 99 out of 100 times when that replacement ref comes in, the guy kicks out at 2. Yeah. I was in shock. Okay, at this time, Ambrose is the champion. I was in shock. I'm like, what? What? It was an
awesome moment. Yeah, I was definitely shocked. I was just like, is this actually happening right now?
Yeah, I couldn't lose my shit because I was so surprised at how it ended. I'm like, this never happens. The guy doesn't stay down for the replacement ref counting 3. What? And sure enough, John Cone comes to, and this part kind of bothers me. When a ref gets knocked out almost every time, they don't ever know what happened, But John Cone says Rollins put him into the line of fire. He wins by disqualification, so Dean Ambrose does not win the title. He wins the match, but he does not win the title.
And here's my issue with that, and this is why I felt indifferent on the match. If you're that referee, okay, and he pulled you in front to purposely get you hit, so you would disqualify him. If you come to and realize that Dean won the championship, as a logical referee, you'd be like, that bitch got his comeuppance. I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
But instead, no, he pulled him in front of me. I'm going to DQ him and screw the other guy out of his championship. That, to me, is where the logic is flawed. And I think that's honestly my biggest problem with how it all went down. But other than that, it's just,
it was a great match, though.
Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed the match.
The work those two put in was great. Just a good, solid match. A lot of unique moves that you don't see all the time. Between two guys where it's not really a fresh matchup. You see these guys been feuding for quite a while, but even though that's where talent comes out, is when you got guys that have worked together a lot lately in the past year and can still make a match look unique and not look like the same old bullshit Raw match that we get every week or something, and that's a testament to both those guys, great workers, and as a saving grace to make us happy as we head for our cars and the exits, Dean Ambrose steals the title, and him and Reigns are going to pop some beers. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes with Ambrose holding the title and stealing the title and walking out. And
which honestly was fitting. It was super fitting.
Yeah, we're
going to. In Ambrose's mind, he is the champion. He pinned Rollins for the 3 count. Clean, and in his mind he's champ, and I don't blame him for leaving with the title.
No.
So I dug the fact that he left with the championship with Roman through the crowd, almost CM Punkish.
Mm-hmm.
And that part I liked. I just had a logic problem with the referee.
Yeah,
but other than that, I mean, I enjoyed the main event. It's just sometimes those little minor details, the little things, can really irk you and take you out of the moment of enjoyment. And but other than that, I can't really complain.
And I mean, like I said, I was just so thrown off by the fact that there was the pinfall right there, which was shocking. But so we put a bow here on the internet, the Elimination Chamber match here. Going through our predictions, it looks like all of us were wrong on Intercontinental, but we were all right on the tag team, and we were all right on Neville. So that puts us at 2-1. Matt's at 3-1 as he picked Nikki Bella. We all picked Cena, so 3-2. You picked Rollins, so let's see. You went 3-3. I think I went 3-3.
Yeah, me and you were tied, and Trevor was below.
Yep, because I picked Ambrose to win, and he technically did. So.
Yeah, technically, you were right.
So looks like we won't see much change in the leaderboard, except Matt will be your undisputed champion for now, and he'll let you know about it.
Yes.
And he will definitely let you know. All right. Looking ahead, and what do you see? Obviously, it looks like we'll probably get ourselves a rematch for the title. But at the same time, that probably means Ambrose is probably not going to win, as they probably set up for. Or he could. I guess Ambrose could win at Money in the Bank and then drop it at Battleground. And
I'm hearing Brock Lesnar's booked for Battleground.
Oh, he's booked to wrestle Battleground.
He's scheduled to be there, so why bring him to a pay-per-view if he's not going to wrestle?
Yeah, well,
so,
WWE's known wasting his appearances before, so.
True, but, you know what? I just thought of something. It's crazy. I know it's crazy. But Brock's booked for a house show in Japan this summer. You know who he's booked against, right?
No.
Kofi Kingston.
What?
Yeah. Brock's house show match in Japan is Brock Lesnar versus Kofi Kingston.
You don't think?
I'm just saying it's possible.
Oh my God.
I didn't even put 2 and 2 together until now. But what if the Kof wins Money in the Bank?
Epic.
That would be nuts.
The New Day's hot.
The New Day is hot, brother.
Well, that is going to do it for this episode of Lost in the Midcard. I'd like to thank you for joining us. We will be back at you on Thursday with some more newsworthy headlines, along with the weekend programming from WWE, Ring of Honor, possibly Impact Wrestling. So hope you enjoyed the possibly, yeah, we'll see. So hope you enjoyed the show, and we will catch you next time.